Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trevor. Really grateful to have you here. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a top 10 recommendations from my collection for fragrances that I'm going to be reaching for in that transitional period between the end of winter and the beginning of spring. So really cold rain, foggy, kind of what I'm dealing with here where I'm at now. Either that or sunny days where there's still some snow on the ground, just kind of, you know, bright sunny days that are still really cold, or dark days where there's still like some rain instead of snow. So that type of transitional weather is going to be ideal for these 10 fragrances. Starting off with number 10, we've got Encore Noir. So this fragrance, if you're not familiar with it, it's a vetiver based fragrance, and it kind of smells like the pen ink that leaks out of the pen when you break it off in your pen pocket or your pocket at school. So it just kind of smells like that ballpoint pen ink. But it has a nice balance between a sterile type of freshness per se that's from the grassiness in the vetiver, and then like a dark, dense mysteriousness that really goes perfect with the kind of weather that's in the backdrop here right now. So that's number 10, Encore Noir. You could also go for either the two flankers of this fragrance, but for this transitional period at the end of winter, beginning of spring, this is my go-to grab. So that's Encore Noir number 10. Okay, moving on, we've got the number 9 spot. Kind of a hidden gem. I don't really see many people talking about this one. I think it was released in the 80s. This is Dunhill Edition. Not dated or old school by any means. It does have some old school type fragrances, like fragrance notes like oak moss and carnation. Some of the main players in here, though, are going to be a creamy vetiver and some citruses in the top, and then also nutmeg. Nutmeg's also going to be a large contributing player in this fragrance. There's no mint listed in here, but it gives off like a really nice, creamy, soapy mint kind of vibe, and then the citruses help to brighten it up. But it is dense, and it has that nutmeg that gives it a little bit of a spicy feel for the colder weather. Really beautiful fragrance. As you can see, I've put in quite a bit of a dent in it. Longevity on this one isn't the greatest. It's right around the 4 to 5 hour range, but something that I really enjoy reaching for in all of the transitional type weather patterns that are going on right here in February into March. So that's number 9, Dunhill Edition. Also, this is a cheapie. You can find this generally for right around $20, so definitely worth checking this one out. Okay, moving on. Number 8 spot, going with Aqua de Colony, Awakening Woods of Scandinavia. I've spoken about this one quite a bit on the channel. I've done a full review. This, as you can see, I've gotten quite a bit of wear out of it. It's a balsam fir dominant fragrance, so you get that sense of being out in a like the woods of Scandinavia. It's just got a very nice green aromatic vibe to it. There's also some rose and some pink pepper and a juicy bergamot, so it just plays out very well in that weather that's just like a sunny, snowy day. It matches the cold perfectly because of the balsam fir note, and then it's just like very lively and uplifting because of all the other composite notes that are in here. Geza Schoen, the guy who launched the Molecule 01 line, or the Eccentric Molecules fragrance brand, is the perfumer behind this one. I get quite a bit of longevity out of this with very, like the projection doesn't last that long, maybe about an hour or two, but I get this about 6 to 7 on my skin. But it is only an eau de cologne concentration, so it might not last that long for you. But the bottles are in like 175 ml size, and so you can reapply this one throughout the day if you really want to, and you get the full 175 mLs for $35. I think Joe Shop's got that deal going on right now, so definitely check this one out. Another hidden gem, Awakening Woods of Scandinavia by 4711 Aqua de Colony. That was the number 8 spot. Number 7 spot is going to be Moschino Toy Boy, another great fragrance for the type of weather I've got going on here. Same occasions that I'm going to reach for Encore Noir, I'm probably going to be reaching for this one. A dark rose fragrance, so you've got that floral component that reaches or that plays very well in the springtime, but you've also got some dark spiciness going on here that makes it good for colder weather. I think this one's pretty talked about in the community. It's a little bit of a different take on rose. It's a little bit feminine leading for some. I personally took a while for this one to grow on me, but I think it's quite the unique fragrance, and the more I go further in my fragrance journey, the more I enjoy rose, and this one is one that I really enjoy reaching for. I actually wore it earlier in the week this week, so if you haven't tried this one, definitely sample it, because it is a little bit of a daring composition per se, but great for this transition period between the end of winter and the beginning of spring. So that's number 7 spot, Moschino's Toy Boy. Okay, number 6 spot, and then we're going into the top 5. This one's a little bit harder to find. It is still technically in production. You can go to their official website and they're selling it there, only in the 60 ml concentration. It's, I don't think, available in the US, but in the they're still selling it in Europe, and it pops up from time to time on fragrancebuy.ca for like $30 for the 60 ml, but you can find it like right now on eBay in the US for $60 right around, so it's like about $1 ml. I think it's worth that price, but it's also worth waiting and being patient to find it on Fragrance Buy when it pops up for like 32-ish around there. And that is a flanker to a fragrance I've talked about a lot on the channel, and that is Roberto Cavalli Silver Essence. So the original Roberto Cavalli Uomo is a violet dominant fragrance with some tonka bean in there, and it gives it a little bit of a powdery touch mixing with the florals. This one kind of takes that vibe and actually adds an orris root. So this is an iris kind of fragrance. It keeps the violet leaf, and then there's a heavy tonka in here, so it's got that density to really kind of match the cold weather. And then there's a ginger note in the top that kind of brightens it up and makes it a little bit more fresh and palpable in the transition here into the springtime. So beautiful fragrance. I haven't gotten as much wear out of this one as I have out of the original, but I'm really looking forward to wearing this one here moving into March and April. And iris is one of my favorite fragrance notes, so this is definitely one to keep your eye out for. This is the 100 ml bottle. I don't think this is still in production. I got lucky finding one of these. Like I said, they still are producing the 60 ml version of the bottle, but yeah, definitely really worth checking out. I think this is the only one of the flankers of the Uomo line that they are still making or at least selling in Europe. So keep your eyes out for this one. Add yourself to the watch list on fragrancebuy.ca. And yeah, that was number 6 spot, Roberto Cavalli Uomo Silver Essence. Okay, moving into the top 5 here. Number 5 spot is going to Saint Julep. So this is a freshie. I think the ideal month for this is probably like June for me, but even though we're quite a bit away from June and summertime, this one plays really well in the winter and spring. Spring because it is fresh and bright and citrusy, but also I feel like it's a slight gourmand. It kind of smells like a mint mojito. There's some like sugar cube accords in here, and then a strong mint note. So that mint plays really well in like bright, sunny winter days, or just like those cold days that are still really sunny. This is an ideal fragrance for that situation. I actually wore this earlier in the week as well on one of those sunny, cold days. Really beautiful freshie that you can rock out in the cold weather here at the end of winter and moving into spring. Imaginary Author is a nice indie brand, worth checking them out. I sampled this one quite a bit before I went ahead and pulled the trigger. 50 ml is the biggest bottle size that they offer over at Imaginary Authors. I got this for like $85. If you go to their website, they sell these for $95, and then you can find discount codes usually for like 10% off. That's how I got this one. Again, really beautiful mint mojito style fragrance, perfect for that transition period at the end of winter going into spring for those sunny winter days. Saint Julep was the name of this one. Okay, number 4 spot is going to Versace Eros Parfum. Again, mint is going to be one of the major players in this list. It's just like a good fragrance note that comes to life in the briskness of the cold, but also is got a green herbally touch that matches the spring vibes going on. This one has no problem cutting through the cold. It's got really nice projection, a nice vanilla note that gives it a sweetness, but then like a lot of other aromatic fresh qualities. This DNA is tried and true, and the Parfum version here I think is the most kind of mature and lacking that obnoxious attention-seeking quality. Again, a great one both for the sunny, cold days and then the cold rain and foggy kind of atmosphere like this. Really kind of versatile fragrance for any kind of colder weather settings. Don't need to spend too much time talking about this one because, like I said, it is very tried and true. So that's number 4, Eros Parfum. All right, moving into the top 3. For number 3 spot, we have Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. So this one, a little bit basic by today's standards, but it is a Chanel. It's got some high quality. You know, as far as men's fragrances go in the designer line, not their like high-end line where they've got Coromandel and things like that, but you know, they're Bleu de Chanel's, Chanel Allure Hommes, these types of fragrances are a little bit boring and basic, I think. I feel like Chanel could do a little bit better work, but that aside, they are still very mass appealing. They're only basic for us like frag heads, so this one, again, very tried and true. It's got some really nice citrus orange qualities. Again, mint shows up in this one, so it plays well in the green aspects of spring and then the brisk aspects of the cold weather here at the end of winter. And then tonka bean gives it a certain density that allows it to kind of carry itself through this sort of transitional period. Great for cold, rainy days, great for bright, sunny, snowy days. Really versatile fragrance for year-round. Really a perfect signature scent. Again, one that I don't think I need to spend too much time going over because it is a tried and true, highly recognized fragrance. Number 3 spot, Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Moving into the top 2, number 2 spot is another one that I've been wearing a lot, speaking a bit about it, and it is Gearline L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Again, one that I've gotten quite a bit of wear out of. I do have a backup bottle, luckily. I've got maybe about 1 or 2 more wears out of this level of juice here. But really nice, beautiful almond note is the central character for the L'Homme Ideal line. And then a cherry note kind of helps to add a unique quality to it, some incense and some leather. I really love this one for the transition at the end of winter into spring because it is creamy, sweet, and slightly gourmandish for the wintry aspects of things, but that cherry note kind of gives me a cherry blossom vibe that invokes that scenery of like flowers growing on the trees. And then when I'm out and about in the rain, when the rain's hitting on my skin, this really pops off and projects incredibly well in that type of weather atmosphere for whatever reason. So one of my favorites for a rainy day, but also just kind of, it's got like that brightness from the cherry note in here that makes it great for springtime as well as the winter. So number 2 spot, Gearline L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. And finally, the number 1 pick, another kind of well-known fragrance by this point, actually my scent of the day, and that is Dior Sauvage Elixir. Kind of, some people say it smells like the OG Drakkar Noir. I don't own, or I think I've smelled Drakkar once, but I've never owned it, so I can't confirm whether it smells like that. But this is like a very fresh, spicy, aromatic fragrance. It complements darkness and lightness very well, which is exactly the descriptor for the transition from the end of winter moving into the spring. So this one is going to be one that I think is ideal for the month of March. It's just got that kind of, you know, like I said, spicy, aromatic quality. There's a licorice note in here that makes it really unique, but heavy lavender that's a little bit sweet. Some cinnamon in here also that kind of makes it really nice for the winter time. Cinnamon's like one of my top wintertime notes. But the lavender is one of my top springtime notes, so this one just takes all those facets and brings them into one incredible offering. Dior rarely disappoints, and this one is highly mass appealing, probably my number 1 most complimented fragrance in my collection to date. So definitely check this one out if you haven't. This 60 ml is starting to hit discounters, and you can pick it up for like right around $130. Well worth the price, and the elixir concentration makes it so that way you're not likely to run out of it very easily, so the 60 ml should do you justice. So that's my #1 pick for the transition between the end of winter moving into spring. Let me know what you're going to be grabbing here in this transitional period, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.